You're joking. A level 3 Caterpie outspeeds my level 9 Iggly. I hate baby Pokemon. Remember, Wigglytuff, you got this over a Mega Evolution.
Hey,
how did you get in? I'm warning you, man. I'm packing heat.
what do you want from a high-powered blaster?
What are you, my YouTube comment section? I guess I'd like to have reasonably priced blasters with fun gimmicks, accurate yet affordable and durable ammo. Let's not forget actual innovation in the blaster design space. Oh, and balls! More balls!
Balls! More balls! Whoa! Thunder Strike 20. Not 3, not 6, not even 8. 20 rapid-fire shots. No waiting, no pumping.
The 20-ball Thunder Strike 20. More balls than any other blaster.
What's the matter? Out of ammo? Have a ball!
Thunder Strike 20. Balls, more balls. Thunder Strike 20. Only from Tyco. Batteries not included.
Yeah, that commercial is about as infamous to me as the Oozinator one was. And if you're an adult over a certain age, you probably remember writing this down for your Christmas list and then never getting it. But for those of you that don't know, welcome, I'm Walcom, and this is Tag Back, where we take a look at a blaster from the past to see what it can offer us today in the present, and this time, it's the Thunder Strike 20, or rather the Thunder Strike 10. They're both kind of the same thing.
Balls! More balls!
Except that Thunder Strike 10 didn't get a rad 90s commercial that I could find. Coming out in 1993, this is one of the first Flywheel blasters I think we ever got in foam flinging. But that makes sense because this is from Tyco, and if you're an adult over a certain age, you probably remember these.
9.6 speed turbo bandits, radio control pickups with a bad attitude, and rechargeable 9.6 speed turbo, rip-roaring high-flying bandits. Yahoo! 9.6 speed turbo bandit, batteries sold separately.
I have wanted one of those dang things for so many years, and I still don't have one. And for me, that's all being an adult is trying to get all the stuff you didn't get as a kid. RC cars, Flywheel blasters, it makes sense. This beautiful behemoth was sent to me by Buff Daddy NERF, aka Brian, aka the person who runs BlasterHub.com. Go there for all your foam flinging news. And this one had a really innovative ammo feeding system called Gravity. You just put some balls in that repurposed duct tubing, switch the blaster on to rev up its flywheels, and then squeeze the trigger for semi-auto action. It featured a sling, it featured a tube, it featured 20 balls.
It's not funny anymore.
And it was probably powered by D batteries for all I know. I actually can't open this. Oh. Right, you can't see any actual details on the blaster. Yeah, this is what constitutes as pinnacle foam flinging technology from the 90s. You've got this weird grip that I guess you kind of hold like that. You've got the cheapest sling ever. I guess it worked. The blaster features a very chunky on-off switch, and this foam magazine is where your batteries went in. Big old chunky barrel with a clear piece here, no end strike muzzle attachment unfortunately, and an equally chunky tube on the top of it. And this really weird swivel stock thing? 90s, man. And it looks like something that Keltec designed. And trust me, if you look far enough down in there, you'll see two geared up flywheels.
Oh, it's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Meant to fling these foam balls, and they are exceptionally light, though quite dense. They just don't make them like they used to. And this is what's left of the actual tube mechanism, which unfortunately these things just disintegrate and break and they never last. So these are honestly probably more rare than the blaster itself, and this is a pretty rare blaster. And yes, I did pay an unreasonable sum for this reload pack off eBay, but it came with purple balls for some reason, and this is the only refill pack I've ever seen with purple balls, which also means that I have to spend another unreasonable sum to get one with yellow balls. But these things came with extra tubing, so you can add on to your already ridiculous tubing, and 5 foam balls. And yes, I'm gonna keep saying balls because mentally I'm 12 years old, and that kind of comedy is still funny to me. But as you read, yes, it would use 20 of these suckers or more, basically about as much as parents would buy you reload packs, and how much you wanted this stuff dragging on the ground behind you until obviously it wouldn't be able to feed anymore.
Well, mister, that's my balls dragging.
So you can imagine during your high-stakes foam flinging game, you're like grabbing this big tube and like trying to dunk the balls from the... It'd be kind of funny, honestly. You gotta remember what kind of blasters you'd be going up against with this thing during the time period it was released. In 1993, NERF was just starting to find its groove, and this is well before things like the 1995 Kenner crossbow. I'm gonna keep these balls out because we'll probably need them. But as you can tell from the thumbnail, which spoils every YouTube video unless you obfuscate that fact in which YouTube usually punishes you, there's another Flywheel blaster in this line. It is far rarer than the Thunderstrike 20, and that is the Thunderstrike 10. I mean, it's the same blaster, arguably cooler. And yes, if you had one of these on eBay a couple of months ago, I did buy it. ×2 because I found one with the box. And if you feel sorry for me, not because I just spent a bunch of money on old blasters nobody cares about, consider doing all that algorithmic garbage to help the channel grow. Just like the Thunderstrike 20, the Thunderstrike 10 is a Flywheel blaster. Again, one of the first ones we ever got. I mean, NERF did do a Flywheel ball blaster, but they were clearly far more invested in a different method of action. And it's the same blaster, just as a pistola. Yes, this is the closest thing I've seen to an actual NERF bolter. I mean, look at the diameter this thing fires, and yet it's meant to be a one-handed blaster. But as the name implies, it came with 10 rapid fire balls instead of 20. Although nothing was stopping you from putting the 20 rounders on this. In fact, they're pretty much meant to be expandable, as the name implies. Don't worry, you'll get your rest. And arguably this is a far more reasonable setup, because who actually needs 20 balls?
Your mom!
And these things are fast reloading. I mean, you just pull off the cap and shove more balls in it. The battery tray is located right here where your bullets go, and I'm far too scared to try to pry that open right now because, you know, 90s plastic. But this guy was bought by Mills Fleet Farm. Lowest overall prices every day. Is that the same Fleet Farm that all the Midwestern American TikTokers are constantly doing ads for? And it was picked up on clearance for $16. I paid much more than that. Powerful turbo motor! Just the one, apparently. Action grip! Extendable ammo tube can be increased with Thunderstrike refills for unlimited firepower. Not wrong. If you wanted to deal with it, you could basically have unlimited ammo. I can see a modified one of these being an absolute terror on the HVZ fields, especially if you got people who will gather and reload ammo for you. Rapid fire 10 soft foam balls! Motorized action enhances accuracy and distance. That's not how that works, but okay. Collect the entire air blaster line. We've got the Thunderstrike 20, which we have. We have the Thunderstrike refill, which we have. We have the Super Stick Blaster, which we have. And the Super Stick Blaster refill, increase your firepower, which I don't have. So if you want to help out and send one of those to the P.O. box, I would be forever grateful. There's also a stock to that thing too that I don't own. And now you're up to date on 90s foam flinging technology just before NERF introduced the Assault Blaster ban. Let's open this one up, because honestly, we want to do the dual wieldy thing. Oh, I guess that thought is, hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I never actually opened this one, but yeah, these things just disintegrate, unfortunately. And they were nice enough to include a single ball. No instructions or anything, unfortunately. Dang you, Fleet Farm! Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is about the most awesome I've ever felt. The grips are reasonably comfortable, although the dovetail does kind of cut into my hand a little bit. There's not a whole lot of room for your trigger finger here, and the trigger is very thin and sharp. But otherwise, POV, you bullied me out of my lunch money. There is a massive chunky on-off switch for this blaster that feels like something off an old IBM computer, and it makes a really satisfying clunk when you turn it on. This one apparently still has batteries that work. You don't actually. I didn't think so, but you can hear how satisfying that click is. Everybody within 50 meters can hear this thing turn on. I mean, you actually work, so let's see how good you work. Let's turn you on. Let's dump one ball in, and then we pull the trigger. That was... Oh, smell that motor.
Love that smell. Reminds me of biscuits and gravy.
That was positively usable. I mean, we've got two of them. We gotta see if we can open one of these things up. It's just open. There's not even a lot of corrosion in here, and it takes double A's. Dad finally came back with the batteries, but forgot the freaking milk. My Cinnamon Toast Crunch is in shambles right now. Yes, lovely?
Brought you Chinese food.
She brought me Chinese food. Find yourself a wife comm like that. The way this little piece is designed, it looks like it's just meant to break at some point. Oh, that physically hurt me. What about you? What funny batteries do you have inside? Duracells that expire in March 2030. This thing was used recently. I'm just gonna assume those are full power. I mean, we could fit a couple of balls in this guy. Well, I'm gonna send it over the chronograph to see how hard it's hitting and also take it outside to do a range test. But first, I need to eat my Chinese food. I wouldn't worry about it, Freddy. I don't think these balls can even fit in your mouth. Despite the fact the projectile weighs a staggering 4.6 grams, which is quadruple what a standard Nerf dart weighs, the overall velocity of the Thunderstrike 10, and by proxy the Thunderstrike 20, since they're both the same blasters, they both take 3 batteries, 1.5 volts each, which means about 4.5 volts of maximum power, except that Thunderstrike 20 takes C-cells and nobody uses those anymore. We got a pretty comfortable early 90s velocity of 30 to 35 feet per second per ball. But how does that translate to real-world range? Well, taking it outside and shooting it down my driveway towards traffic, it can go the distance and hit almost 25 feet. However, if you increase that angle considerably, you can reach over 25 feet and farther with a decent roll. You can honestly throw a ball farther than that, but this is rapid fire. And in something like HVZ, where range doesn't really matter that much, this thing is actually a hidden gem, and that is probably the best use case today for the Thunderstrike series of blasters. If we can figure out what the maximum voltage these motors will handle is, we could definitely overvolt the thing and probably get even better distance, but the faster spinning flywheels could have difficulty gripping the ball or just straight up destroy them. But if you think like the Demo Man from Team Fortress 2, this is a really nice little blaster. Decent range, big impact, demonstrably fun! The Thunderstrike blasters give you all of that and more, with a fast reload and large capacity to boot. Really, that's where these blasters are slept on. For those of you that don't know, Humans vs. Zombies, or HVZ, is one of the biggest Nerf game modes there is, and there are zombies that can't be tagged out unless being hit by special ammunition. That can be a wide variety of things. Most commonly it's Mega, Mega XL, or Demolisher rockets, but I'm sure if you brought one of these to the game organizer's attention, they would allow you to use it as a special ammunition tool. With fast scavenging, easy reloading, and high capacity, this thing could keep the hordes at bay for a long time. After all, the zombies are coming towards you, not the other way around. At least if you're playing the game right. So for the thrifty human player, this is a pretty good system right here. Even fully collapsed, this blaster will still hold almost 5 rounds, or 4. And yeah, it's large, but for the ammo type it's utilizing, that is incredibly powerful. And if your standard games have special ammunition rules, which they should, that increases its play value even more. So in short, if your game doesn't suck, this thing's gonna rule. And for what these things deliver, the prices aren't that bad right now, although they're certainly gonna go up the longer this video has been out. So between the two, I think the Thunderstrike 10 is the better blaster overall. But when it comes to the Thunderstrike series itself, it's not something you absolutely have to get your hands on. It is definitely more of a side grade than anything. But these setups are compact, less prone to jam, and far more usable than something like the Nerf Motorized Bazooka. The biggest hindrance is gonna be the ammo. I don't know if these are a standard Nerf diameter, although they certainly appear like it to me, and you might be able to find aftermarket replicas of this exact ammo. But at a game, you need to make sure you collect all of your ammo. It is far larger than most of our projectiles on the field, and you're probably the only one using them, so there's really no excuse you couldn't get your ammo back unless somebody has sticky fingers. Above all else, it is an incredibly simple blaster, and I'm more than enthusiastic about how much fun this thing is. Honestly, you could take this exact same blaster, give it a little bit more balls, and throw it on store shelves in 2025, and I think it would still be a beloved product. It's not meant to hit hard or go very far. That's like complaining your bazooka isn't a sniper rifle. And it just goes to show for toy manufacturers out there, you don't have to compete with super high-end hobby-grade blasters to be a good product. You just have to make a product that does something that other products don't do. Should you pick up a Thunderstrike 10 or 20? If you find it for under 15, 20 bucks, heck yeah, especially if it still has the tube, which most of them won't. However, I feel like this is a pretty simple thing to fabric cobble. In fact, you could just put a hopper on top of this if you wanted and give it a shake, which is exactly what people probably did before YouTube existed. I love this blaster. It's cool, it's functional, it's got its own niche. I seriously love the Thunderstrike 10. That's why I bought another one after the fact. It's super fun, but like the last Tasmanian tiger in captivity, there's just not a whole lot like it.